cancer. My friend Kelsey Anderson here on KBOI2 is going on a road trip with all of our girlfriends. She asked me for a little advice on how I drive my RV. So here we are. Kelsey?
Let's roll!
Okay, so Kelsey, there are a couple of things that you want to remember.
Yeah.
One is that you are driving a tank now, right?
Right.
So when you drive, when you turn left and you turn right, the one thing you have to remember is your butt is going to just come, it's going to swing way out. So you have to
Okay.
take that into account when you're turning. And that's exactly why we're here in this huge parking lot, so you can practice that without
I
hitting
need this
anything.
space.
Yeah, you have insurance, right?
I think it's up to date.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, I'm not going to
We'll
be too
say
nervous.
yes.
Okay, perfect. We're going to go with
No,
yes.
I have insurance. We're good.
Okay, so the second thing is that when you're driving, you just want to drive it like a regular car, but when you're driving and parking and things like that, you really want to think about all of the trees because you don't really notice how tall you
yeah.
are.
Okay.
And so I have taken out many vents on our roof because I got a little too close to branches and stuff. So that's important.
How much is the vent?
They're spendy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you holding on for a reason?
I'm a little nervous.
Oh, okay. Great. All right. All right.
Oh!
Did I hit it? Did I hit it?
Yes!
I did! No, I didn't.
You did! Look at it!
Oh no! I'm about to hit this one too. I think I got it.
You think?
I got that one. That one's good. I almost hit our photographer on the ground in front of us too.
I'm glad you were watching for
All right.
him.
2 out of
Okay.
3 isn't bad. There's a lot of traffic behind us. I feel like I'm gonna be holding up traffic.
So that's why I was like, just go at your own pace and don't worry about them.
Are we turning with them?
Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh
Oh!
Lord.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Why did she do that?
I don't know. Also, everyone's passing me. So how far above my head does this RV go?
Pretty
how
far.
many feet?
3, 5, 4.
Okay.
Oh God, you're gonna hit the curb.
Oh! Just when you let your guard down.
You were just saying how easy it was.
Okay. That wasn't good.
Oh,
How
okay.
hard is it to flip
You
one
just
of these?
In my house, when we play games, we always have like almost kind of like a do-over. Okay.
Yeah. So is this my do-over?
This is the ultimate test. Okay. So if you can nail this piece, we're gonna wipe out all the other things that just happened. Okay. So this is kind of like a
take
winner
that.
takes all. That's what we do
Okay.
in our house. Okay.
Great.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna see how well you can parallel park this monster beast. Kelsey, I have every ounce of faith in your skills.
Thank you, Jonna. I think I got this. I think I nailed it,
You're like,
Jonna.
you think?
I think
Let's
I
see.
did. 1 minute. I'm gonna just.
Well, Kelsey, I think you absolutely are impressive. I think
you.
that you have just graduated from Jonna's RV School of Driving.
Thank you so much, Jonna. You could really start your own classes because this goes to show you're a really good teacher.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you.
You guys have a great time and be safe on the road.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right, we'll be right back. Losing your spouse is a heartbreaking journey, and I bet sometimes you can feel all alone. And that's exactly why we've invited Lisa Bain with us here today, who lost her husband to cancer nearly 1 year ago. Lisa, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Let's talk about Dan.
Well, there's lots to say about Dan. Great guy, super funny, and just a huge bundle of energy. And just over, well, probably a year and a half ago, he was diagnosed with a very rare type of cancer called the synovial sarcoma. Odds are not good, and so right out of the chute, the first week we heard the diagnosis, we knew it was stage 4 terminal. Hoped for the best, and he fought till the very, very end, but 9 months after diagnosis, we lost him.
Wow. And you've taken your journey and your experience in a really healthy, beautiful, inspirational way, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, you have. So let's talk a little bit about your blog. Tell us what your blog is.
It's the wanderingwidow.blog.
I love that, the wanderingwidow.blog. And why did you choose to go this route?
Well, it started through a coping mechanism of just journaling. And friends and family really wanted to help. And I apparently am a strong personality, so people weren't really sure how to do that. Shocking, I know. And people were asking, tell us what to say, tell us what to do. And so I took the blog public and decided, okay, we are a grief-phobic society. We don't talk about it. I have been the person to say wrong things in the past because we're afraid. Part of the human condition is if you are alive, you're going to die. Someone you love is going to die, and you will grieve. And it is just something that we're not taught how to deal with. If you look at other cultures, they deal with it a lot better than we do. So I like to know things. I like to look and understand things. So all the yucky, dark, ugly parts, it's like I'm gonna look at this and figure out what it is and why it's this way, and hopefully help myself in the process. And maybe help some other people too.
Okay, so did you write this blog for you, for other people? Who did you write it for?
I wrote it for me. I started for me. And then I shared it with a few close friends who encouraged me to share it further, make it public, and kind of just took off from there.
Wow. Okay, so I have read several of your blog posts through tears, right? Through laughter, through amazement. Let's talk about my favorite, I think, which is what not to say to a grieving widow.
Yes.
Right? Let's talk about that.
Well,
why'd you do it? And
I actually have written several posts on what not to say because I continue to be amazed at the idiotic, stupid things that come out of people's mouths. Apologies. I have said these things to people in the past before I understood how trite and insignificant and hurtful they can be. So I decided I would help educate. In anything I've taken on in life, I've helped to educate, and I thought, I was a jerk to people and I didn't even know it. And I know these people care and they're not trying to be a jerk to me, and talking to other widows about some of the things people say that are just absolutely hurtful and personal, and I believe people mean well. And so I took the opportunity to educate people on, hey, don't say that.
And can you tell us some of the things that you heard?
Well, there's a lot of personal questions about finance, dating.
People are asking about finance.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
People that are not even in your inner circle. And I think it's just a curiosity, but it's very inappropriate. You don't ever get to ask a widow if she's going to date again or how she's going to pay the bills or any
People
of that.
did not ask that.
Did
they really ask that?
Yes.
Wow, Lisa.
I had people ask me about dating even before Dan had died. So.
Oh my gosh.
People are interesting.
Okay, so in this specific blog post that I read, you were very, what's the word? Very out there with your language. You dropped an F-bomb or two, right?
Yes, my mother is horrified at my regular use of profanity in my blog. So if you're easily offended, please don't read. But some of the things, that word is just really the only appropriate response. So,
I can only imagine.
And some of the questions people say, and some of the things people say they truly believe, like you get a lot of God has a plan, or it was God's will, or it was meant to be. I don't really care. If that's really your faith, keep it to yourself.
Wow.
That is trite religious platitude and insulting. Really? Wow. Well, why did God plan to kill my husband and not yours? So you got to be careful with what you say, even if you mean well. And again, that goes down to the education. We're not taught how to handle these things. And so I don't just make fun of people who say the wrong things. I do try to give some helpful alternatives.
No, they're wonderful.
So, I mean, some of the things that you can say would be, I wish I could take this pain from you. Because that's true. Even if you don't know what it is, you know it hurts and you don't want it to be there. Or don't say anything. Just be there for that person.
Absolutely.
And in silence. If you can't think of a good thing to say, just be there in silence.
We struggle so bad with that because we want to say something. We want you to know we care. And it's really challenging. Okay, so you have chosen to do some very cool ceremonial things, and right after the break, we're going to talk about one of those things that you did with some special things of Dan. All right?
All right.
We'll be right back. You're watching Idaho Living, and we are continuing our couch conversation with Lisa Bain, the author of WanderingWidow.blog, who recently lost her husband to cancer. Lisa, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So before the break, we were talking about some of the things people should not be saying to
Yes.
widows, but you have chosen amazing things to do in honor of Dan. Let's talk first about your recent trip that you took to Europe.
Oh, yes.
Holy Toledo.
Well, we had, like many people, been planning for the future. We saved, we paid bills, but we had these big dreams that we were going to do. And we were very blessed that in his last 9 months that we did have the opportunity to check a few things off the bucket list. But we adopted the motto of live now, because tomorrow is promised to no one. And we had been planning this big trip to Europe for years.
Wow.
Probably 10 years we'd been talking about where we were going to go, what we were going to do. And when he realized he wasn't going to be able to join me, he made me promise to go by myself, which I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, buddy. You don't get to tell me what to do anymore. But it kept staying with me, so I finally booked the trip, almost canceled a few times.
Wow.
But I went. And it was amazing and beautiful and lonely and hard and the best thing I've ever done. And I'm so glad I went.
And you talk about, I mean, you went alone, right?
I did not travel with anyone else. I went by myself and I attached to some other groups and people, but
Wow.
I didn't take any friends with me or family. It was all me.
And reading through that blog, I mean, again,
Yeah.
tears and laughter and
Oh, yeah.
epiphanies and amazing things. What do you think the number one takeaway that you experienced was from that trip?
That I proved to myself I could do it.
Wow, that's empowering.
Yeah. And it's very difficult when you've been part of a couple for a very long time. And I mean, I still struggle with it. I think most people do when your relationship is suddenly ended, is you want to, oh my gosh, guess what happened today? Or this is so
Yeah.
exciting. Or what did you think about that?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you can't do that. So it was pretty lonely for a lot of it, but I met amazing people along the way that shared in my journey, that taught
Wow.
me things, and very grateful that I went. I'm very grateful that he made me promise to go, even though I was very annoyed in the beginning. So.
Well, and I just happened to glance down at your wrist
Oh,
and
yes.
see your Live Now tattoo. When did
Yep.
you get that?
Probably about a month after he passed away.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a reminder
Okay.
that to live now.
Yeah, it's so powerful. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the ceremonial things you did with Dan's stuff, because I can imagine you have these amazing, mementos of him, and
Yes.
what do you do with them? So do you want to share a little bit about some of the things you did that made a difference in your life and your family's?
Dan was retired military. He served 22 years in the Army, and he was also a little bit of a pack rat, so he kept everything. 22 years worth of one set of pristine uniforms that he was ever issued. Most of them, they don't even exist anymore. And, the Idaho Military History Museum was full because that was my first inclination. And there is something called stolen valor, in which some dirtbag gets a hold of old military uniforms and pretends to be military for the purpose of either prestige or getting free things or whatnot. So stolen valor is a really big deal. And dirtbag is my edited word, just in case anyone wants to know. You can look for that blog post. And I knew that there was no way I could just throw them away.
Wow.
So another widow invited me over to her home that had a burn pit, and we sat outside and we burned 22 years of uniforms in a lovely chilly spring evening.
Wow.
And that stuff is toxic, by the way. But it was ceremonial. It felt like he would approve, and there was no way anyone could use that for stolen valor. But it also just kind of represented cleansing. Fire is cleansing for a lot of cultures, and it felt good, it felt right.
That's
So,
awesome. I
yeah.
think that's so important. Okay, so our time is almost up, Lisa, but what advice do you have for widows out there that might be feeling, you are, it hasn't even been a year yet, and
Right.
you've just done some amazing things. You're impacting our community, like it's beautiful. So what advice do you have for those
Well,
widows?
I would say, first of all, don't hide it and don't try to go through it alone. You've got people that love you, let them help you. Grief counseling is one of the best things you can try. Not everyone responds well to that, but there's all kinds of things you can do. Just don't try to go it alone and don't repress it. If you don't go through the healing process, it festers and you can't move forward with your life. And moving forward does not mean forgetting.
I think that's important, right? Because I
Huge.
think, yeah, I can only imagine. Okay, so what's next, real fast?
What's next? Well, my big news is I have just announced my retirement. You heard it here first. Idaho Living.
An Idaho Living exclusive.
Yes,
Okay.
I've just announced my retirement, and I am going to go back to Europe and travel the world for a year or so, and
You are kidding.
see beautiful places and meet interesting people and go have adventures. Because
Amazing.
live now.
Awesome. Live
Gonna
now.
live
Lisa Bain, thank you so much. Head on
Thank
over
you.
to the wanderingwidow.blog and you'll hear her floral language, and it's all fun and festive. So
Yes.
thank you so much for helping
All
so
right,
many
thanks,
people.
Jonna.
Bye-bye. Coming up next, we are celebrating National Chocolate Day. You will not want to miss it. Not only is it Friday, it is National Chocolate Day. So go grab some chocolate, or if you're looking for a scrumptious recipe, you've come to the right place. We are so thrilled to have from the Sweet Valley Cookie Co. Heidi Tilby. Heidi, you are going to treat us to a delicious treat. What are we making today?
We're gonna make the brookie.
The brookie. What is a brookie?
So brookie is brownie on bottom, chocolate chip cookie on top, or whatever kind of cookie on top you'd like.
Love it. Okay, so we're gonna, what kind of chocolate are we making today? The chocolate chip cookie?
Yeah, chocolate
Oh.
chip brookie, yep.
It smells so good right now. Okay, so how do we even get started?
Okay, so first you're gonna start with a baking sheet.
Okay.
We line ours with the parchment paper. And then
Really?
I use about a double batch of your favorite brownie mix.
Okay.
That's what we have here.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, so go ahead and just pour all of that in there.
Okay. And I love the parchment idea, the parchment paper idea.
Yes,
Do you do that with everything?
we do. It makes it a lot easier to get it out at the end.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Get all
How
that
long
in there.
how long has your company been open? And you have 2 locations too.
Yeah, so our Eagle location has been open for about 6.5 years now, and we
Wow.
opened one in Boise last September.
Wow. That's cool. And I love it because it's a drive-through and a
drive-through.
parlor.
Yes, yep, we've got ice cream there, we've got sodas.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and of course the brookies and other cookies.
Oh, yum.
So anyways, basically you'll just get that spread out nice and even,
Okay.
and your paper will stick, but you just kind
But
of
that's
keep on
okay. That's
going.
part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay.
Okay.
So we got this done.
So once you've got that all evened out and mixed, you're going to put it in your oven. A lot of people think you got to put the dough on now. You don't. That's the
Okay.
trick. So you're going to put your brownie in, and you're going to cook it just long enough for it to set up. So
Okay.
how we tell when it's done is we get our pan out of the oven, well, with oven mitts, but we give it a shake. if we have any jiggling at all, we put it back in for a couple
Wow.
more minutes. So
Okay.
like I said, you don't want it baked all the way, but you want it set up so you can put your cookie dough on.
Okay.
So then you take it out, and then we use about 2 pounds for the size pan of cookie dough. So if you want to just grab some and start crumbling it on,
I want to eat all of this, Heidi.
and you can.
So, you literally just crumble it on.
Yeah, you just crumble it on. I
Oh
make sure
my
I get all
word.
the edges and corners.
Oh my gosh.
It's really fantastic.
Now, these are huge pans, Heidi.
Yes, so we actually use double this size at the shop,
You are kidding.
but I thought I'd size it down here. So this seems small to me. This is our small
Really? I'm like,
brookie.
holy cow, this is so huge. Okay. What was I gonna say? And you can do different kinds of cookies on top if you
Yeah,
want?
exactly.
I wouldn't. Who would? Who wouldn't want to
Yeah,
do
so
chocolate
basically
chip?
you can use your favorite brownie on the bottom, your favorite cookie on the top.
Can I try this, Heidi?
You sure can. All right, and we use the exact same cookie doughs we make our chocolate chip cookies with. So, all right, so then that will go back in the oven, and you're gonna cook that just until the cookie's done. So another 8 to 12 minutes, depending
Okay.
on how much dough in your oven. All right, so then it will also still be hot, but you'll take it out of your oven, and this is what it looks like.
Oh,
So we let it cool for several hours so your chocolate sets up, everything's cool. And then to get it out of our pan, we give it
oh.
we use a pizza cutter,
Okay.
cut all the way around. And then you'll see why we use the paper. Give it a flip,
Oh.
and then we go ahead and take this off.
Look at that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you can flip this right onto your counter or a cutting board, whatever you want to do. All right.
Can
so-
you guys smell this? Can you smell it? It smells so good.
All right, so this actually only makes 12 brookies.
12?
Yeah.
Holy cow, we are talking some big brookies, right?
Yes.
Okay, and there's a special way to cut it like this?
Well, I mean, you can cut them however you want at home, but
Okay.
this is how we do it at Sweet Valley Cookie Company.
Holy
We like
cow.
it nice and big. And there is a brookie.
It looks so good.
Yes.
Okay, and there's some special way that you can prepare it. So can you tell us
Yeah.
that real fast?
We sell it just like this, but since it's National Chocolate Day, we thought we'd make a hot fudge sundae with it.
I love you already, Heidi.
So we're gonna put a nice big scoop of vanilla ice cream on there,
Oh,
and then top it off with some hot fudge, just like that.
now, who doesn't want this? This is so heavenly.
So good.
If we just had to guess, how many calories do you think are in this? Or does it matter?
It does not
It
matter.
doesn't matter. It's National Cookie Day. They don't even count, right? Or Chocolate Day.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's perfect. So
Hi.
then you can just serve these and eat them, and there you go.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I can come and see you and get your Heidi's special little brookie for me,
Yeah,
right?
you can come in our shop. We have them every day. We bake them fresh every day, and we also deliver them. And there's details on our delivery on our website.
And it's svcookies.com.
That's right.
For all of your fun, sweet needs.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heidi. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
Oh, it smells so good. Coming up next is our Friday favorite, a shoe that has a very interesting look. Plus, who knew eating chocolate came with so many perks? We're talking about 5 sweet health benefits from chocolate. Oh my gosh, so after we just ate that brookie and ice cream and chocolate sauce, it was heavenly. We want to talk about there are some real health benefits, at least they say there is, when it comes to eating chocolate. So to let you feel not as guilty about what you just ate with us, here are a few benefits you need to know about. First of all, weight loss. Researchers found that dark chocolate fills you up fast. So dark chocolate lowers your cravings for sweets, salty, and fatty foods. Number 2, okay, we already know this one, right? Number 2 is it reduces stress. All right, so emotional eating might not be such a bad thing. You know what kind of havoc stress can wreak on your body, right? Swiss scientists, right, who else, found that when very anxious people ate 1.5 ounces of dark chocolate every day for 2 weeks, their stress hormone levels were reduced. So after a breakup, break out a dark chocolate bar rather than a pint of ice cream. Aren't you loving these facts? I love it. All right, let's continue. Number 3, higher intelligence. Next time you're under pressure on a project, don't feel so guilty about grabbing a dark chocolate bar from the vending machine. Not only will it help your body ward off the effects of stress, but it will boost your brain power when you really need it. All right, this one I did not know. This is crazy. I want you guys to try this today if you've got a cough, because eating dark chocolate can help with cough relief. One study found that chocolate quieted coughs almost as well as codeine. How crazy is that? A chemical responsible for chocolate's feel-good effect may suppress activity in a part of the brain called the vagus nerve. And lastly, sun protection. London researchers recently tested chocolate and its sun protecting powers. After 3 months of eating chocolate, their study on their subject's skin took twice as long to develop than the reddening effect that indicates the beginning of a burn. This is so crazy. All right, all this talk is making me hungry for some more chocolate. So just have to end with our Friday favorites today. You know, I was cruising the internet, maybe it was Facebook, and I found these shoes. These are so funny. Check this out. I think this would be hilarious to walk, like even right here at the village, to walk around with these pigeon shoes on. Okay, isn't this crazy? So this is a woman in Japan who made these custom pigeon shoes. And here is another site that even shows you how to make them. So there's our Friday favorites. I hope you enjoyed it. Go eat some chocolate, treat yourself.